Okay, so now I'm about to do a little bit of mansplaining. It's time for some mansplaining. So in order for me to mansplain here, the reason I'm going to mansplain is because I'm about to mansplain men to women. Okay, and this I think I am qualified to do as a man. So I'm not going to mansplain to women how women should think about themselves or their lives or their bodies. That's your business. I don't really care. Do what you want to do. But I will mansplain to you what it's like to be a man, because I know and you don't, because I'm a man. Right? You can't womansplain to me what it's like to be a man, just like I can't mansplain to you what it's like to be a woman. So here is some mansplaining, and as Andrew Klavan says, let's try to do some women understanding. So here is a problem, okay? The Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue is made for men to get off. Okay, let's be real about this. The vast majority of men who subscribe to Sports Illustrated are men. Vast majority of people who subscribe to Sports Illustrated are men. And those men tend to like beautiful women, which is why half of the ads in Sports Illustrated are of scantily clad women holding sports drinks. There's a reason for that. It's not because men are deeply concerned with the inner beauty of a woman, right? That's just not the case. There's a line in Liar Liar where Jim Carrey, who's the whole premise of the film is that he can no longer lie because he's received a curse from his son, and his son comes out of class, and Jim Carrey is talking about how at one point his wife was pregnant and fat. And the son says something like, my teacher says true beauty's on the inside. And Jim Carrey says, that's just something ugly people say. Okay, the reason that that's a laugh line is because that's how a lot of men think. Okay, that's men's instinct. Men's instinct is to look at a woman's physical beauty, which is why all actresses, all of these celebrities who talk so much about the patriarchy are beautiful, right? They're all good looking. Okay, the vast majority of actresses in Hollywood are not, they don't look like Melissa McCarthy. They look like Jessica Chastain. They're all gorgeous women. Okay, so Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition decides that it's time to have their own Me Too moment. And the way they're going to have their Me Too moment is by demonstrating that the patriarchy can be smashed with naked, beautiful women. So Vanity Fair writes about this on the short list of American media institutions invented to take commercial advantage of the male gaze. First of all, I hate this phrase, the male gaze. It's called instinct, okay? Men look at beautiful women, just like women look at attractive men. Although not exactly like that, because the fact is that a woman is more likely to get to know a man and make a judgment based on that than a man is likely to get to know a woman outside of the physical. Okay, the reality is men are much more driven by sex than women. This is true in virtually every species. Okay, men are the ones who initiate sex. Males are the ones who initiate sex in virtually every species. They are the ones who seek sex more aggressively and more often in virtually every species. Sorry to break it to folks, but this is just biology. The male gaze. Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition surely ranks in the top 3 mostly safe for work division. One could be forgiven then for thinking that the staff of the issue were reconsidering their efforts last fall as Me Too trended. Stories about sexual harassment consumed news cycles, and audiences thought more deeply about the ways their media and entertainment were made and who was making them. It turns out the issue's staff had already been on their way to rethinking all of it, according to Vanity Fair. Editor MJ Day and her core team, comprised of all women, had decided as early as last spring to try in 2018 to make a magazine where models were as much participants as objects. She says, quote, I'm thrilled that this movement is going on because I feel like it's going to change things for the better. And apparently, she runs the swimsuit issue like a den mother, paying attention to the emotions and comfort level of models and employees. She says, this is a safe space. She loves to post selfies with the models she works with. And last year, uploaded a photograph of herself in a bikini in the name of body positivity. Yes, I'm sure that men are thinking of body positivity. I mean, it is amazing how men and women can see the same image and see 2 different things. I guarantee you that if you show a woman this picture, the first thing that most women will see is the word artist on this lady's arm. If you show a man this picture, that is about the 7th thing the man will see. Okay, really, no joke. Okay, Mathis can confirm this. Okay, the reality is that if you're a man and you look at this picture, it takes you a long time to realize there are actual words on this woman's body. Because she's naked, okay? And men are into naked women. Sorry to break it to women, this is the way that it works. For Day, the 2018 issue, which arrives on newsstands next week, will be the culmination of a shift in her thinking that's happened over her time at Sports Illustrated, that the images could be a place where different standards of beauty could be celebrated. Traveling and shooting on location put her in situations where she was talking about bodies and the idea of beauty with people from vastly different cultural milieus. Okay, so I'll be curious to see if the swimsuit issue features a bunch of very, very overweight women. Let's show some more of these images that smash the patriarchy. So here is a very sexy woman wearing a bikini that she seems to be pulling down and a skimpy shirt that is wet, demonstrating that she does indeed have nipples beneath the shirt, right? And then it says something but I couldn't read what was on the shirt because I was distracted by all the other things, okay, because I'm a man, because that's how men work. It says a woman does not have to be modest in order to be respected. Okay, a woman does have to be modest in order for a man to read what's on her t-shirt. Okay, I agree. You don't have to, I respect you as a woman, right? And I would check your credentials if I were hiring. But I'm not looking at what's on your shirt, lady. I'm looking at what's beneath the shirt because that's the way men operate. Okay, that's not sexism. That's called human biology. A woman does not have to be modest in order to be respected. No, but again, a woman has to be modest in order for me to pay attention to what's coming out of the words coming out of her face. My goodness. Okay, here's another one. These are all to smash the patriarchy. Here's another beautiful naked woman. Again, I'm not seeing a lot of ugly naked women in this particular issue. A beautiful naked woman putting her hand over her breasts and her other hand over her lady parts. And it says mother, and then it says beneath her hand something that you can't read because her hand is covering the word. It says human, I guess. So apparently Justin Trudeau will be lecturing her about use of the word human. It should say person. And then it says nurturer on her arm, and then something down her leg that you can't read because she's naked. Okay, again, ladies, men's brains operate on two levels, just like everyone's brains operate on two levels. There's the level of instinct and there's the level of reason, right? There's the prefrontal cortex, which allows you to do your higher level thinking, and then there's your lizard brain. Okay, men's lizard brain kicks in. Women who are married know this. The worst time to talk about matters of great import is in the middle of a sexual peccadillo. Okay, this is not a good time to talk about the taxes. Men are not going to be paying attention. That's not their fault. Okay? Not everything that you dislike about the world means that it's a man's fault. It's not a man's fault that a man who looks at this picture is more likely thinking what's under the hands than how do I complete that crossword puzzle on her chest. Okay, do we have one more or is this the last one? So here's the last one. Beautiful naked woman smiling in what is obviously a sexual pose, completely naked, right? Lying back, vulnerable. And then it says on her ribcage, truth. Again, I don't know what that's supposed to mean. And I don't know why truth on her ribcage is supposed to mean anything. There's an H on her butt, which I again, don't know what the rest of the word says because there's no way to tell. You want to talk about truth, you want to talk about reality? Here's the reality. Men read Sports Illustrated. Men buy the swimsuit edition. Now, I'm the kind of man who respects women so much that when I was a teenager, and the first year I got Sports Illustrated, I called the number, I unsubscribed from the swimsuit edition, which you can do, right? You can unsubscribe from the swimsuit issue. So for years and years and years, I got Sports Illustrated. I never once received swimsuit edition in the mail because that was not something that I morally believed in. I think it was softcore pornography, essentially, because that's what it is. This is very, very softcore pornography, right? It's like PG-13 rated porn. Okay, but the idea that you paint a word on a woman's body and suddenly the man sees the word and not the body is just it's idiotic. This is the height of idiocy. But that's not the extent of it. This year, the issue will include more participation from athletes, written contributions from models. Yes, that's what we need, written contributions from models. I care deeply what Brooklyn Decker has to say about the state of Syria. I need to hear from models who are most famous for getting naked for the pleasure of men. I need to hear from them about the patriarchy. More donations and causes and empowerment. One model's t-shirt reads, own it. Last year's issue pretended to change. I guess that one was from last year, the one that said a woman doesn't have to be modest to be respected. Again, how about a woman seeks respect rather than seeking to make money off men pleasuring themselves to her picture? How about that? How about, in order to be respected, I think first you need a little bit of self-respect. Is that too much to ask? I think that's not too much to ask. In its 54-year history, the 2018 swimsuit issue will also feature a nude spread shot by female photographer and an all-women crew. Wow. Like any dude gives two craps about that. How many guys have actually watched the credits at the end of a porn movie? Have any guy ever watched the credits? If they could be directed by all women. That doesn't matter. I will say this. Men who watch pornography have a gift for separating the art from the artist. Right? They have a unique capacity to be able to say, I don't care who made this film. All I care about is that there are two women making out on screen naked. Right? It's amazing how that works. And to be sure, this year's swimsuit issue will still have the swimsuits and sandy beaches its readers have come to expect. The cover was shot in the Caribbean, like approximately 20 of the ones that preceded it. These are sexy photos, they said. At the end of the day, we're always going to be sexy no matter what is happening. We're Sports Illustrated swimsuit. The idea is to create something artful, to create a beautiful image that both the subject and the team is proud of and collaborates on together. And then she says she sees the connections between the Me Too movement and her own work. Quote, it's about allowing women to exist in the world without being harassed or judged, regardless of how they like to present themselves. Okay, again, this is one of the great lies of the modern feminist movement, is that women love presenting themselves this way. It's empowering for women to present themselves this way. If this were true, you know how many women would be walking around wearing nothing? You know how many women, how many times have you seen a woman dressed like that woman just walking around during the day. Like they dress, women dress on the beach in bikinis, but the reality is that the vast majority of women walk around the workplace wearing stuff that is relatively modest. Why? Because they don't want men looking at their cleavage. They want men looking at their faces. It's so backwards. And what's amazing about it, and the thing I object to about it, is that the feminist movement says all this kind of stuff. They say all this kind of stuff, and then they yell at religious people for not being sufficiently respectful toward women. What I am suggesting is that the feminist movement is not respectful enough toward women. The feminist movement has made life worse for women. The third wave feminist movement, not the first wave, which said women are equal and should vote. Of course, that's true. Women are equal and should work. Of course, that's true. I'm talking about the second and third wave feminist movement that said men and women are exactly the same, treat sex exactly the same, treat modesty exactly the same. It's obvious nonsense. And this has real ramifications for real women. Okay, it's not just about men and the male gaze. It is also about men seeing women in a certain way. So one of the things the feminist movement has done in modern times is they've said that pornography can be a feminist issue. Because women watch pornography too. First of all, the percentage of women who watch pornography is significantly lower than the percentage of men who watch pornography. This will always be true, invariably and always, because men are creatures of visual stimulus and will seek it out in terms of sex. Just the reality. But the feminist movement has embraced pornography and said that it's liberating and empowering. It is not liberating and empowering. It gives terrible ideas to men about what women want from sex. Okay, there's a long article over at the New York Times today. It's a piece called What Teenagers Are Learning from Online Porn. And essentially what it says is it's not healthy. It's not healthy, right? Basically, there's a huge percentage of young men who are watching pornography, and then they think this is what women want, because in the pornography, men are visual learners, and they're stimulated by visual imagery. And when you're watching pornography, then you're not actually going to spend a lot of time thinking about whether this is true or false, or whether there are people behind the camera or not. You're just going to believe what's in it. In pornography, women are they're always happy. They're always feeling pleasure. And the more aggressive the man is in pornography, typically, the more the woman enjoys it. And the more creative the man is, the more the man does weird things to women, the more the woman enjoys it, because that's their job, is to act like they're enjoying it. But in real life, women don't enjoy this stuff. So what this is convincing women is that they have to try all of these things that men have seen in pornography in order to hold their man, because it's created a competitive market for women in the dating pool. And then they presumably have to pretend to like it in order for the man to think that it's cool. And then men think women actually do like it because men are stupid. Again, the feminist movement should have said, here's what women actually believe about sex. Here's what women actually feel about sex. Women, for women particularly, sex and intimacy are deeply intertwined. It's why women orgasm more often by every study in married relationships or committed relationships than they do in the sort of one-night stands that you hear about in Rihanna songs. Right? Women are much more, in comfortable situations with a partner who they feel comfortable with, women are much more likely to get sexual pleasure than in these one-night raunch fests that you see promoted in Kesha songs. And yes, I corrected it. It's like Kesha, not Keisha, apparently. And so this idea that's been pushed forward by women that all of this is liberating for women, the only people who are feeling liberated right now are horny men. So well done, Me Too movement. Well done, feminist movement. Just geniuses. Okay, time for some...